When we last left, John was working on his roof raise. He had to cut his C-channel open to be able to get his rods to fit in.
It's not time open.
Right.
You know, so
With
it's like a taco, just like opening.
okay, but I mean, what? Just
crowbar.
Crowbar. Oh man,
Back and forth, up and down.
that's brutal.
And it's tough. You manipulating the metal like that. But then I'm able to get the bar in there, and with hammering it, I can get it secure. Then I clamp it in, hammer it more.
We'll keep checking back in on John's build. But for now, let's talk about ours. We started working on our door. As you can see here, I've got the front door taken apart. Here's one section of it. There's the other section over there. And I had to go and grind every single one of the individual rivets out with a grinder, with a cutoff wheel, which is very time consuming. And then I got this 3-inch piece of flat bar that I'm going to tack weld in place. And hopefully that will make up the difference that is the gap of the door. All right, well, I've got this piece of flat iron welded, tack welded in the middle here. And I got it squared as best I can. So we're gonna go hang it and see if it works. And if it works good, then I'm gonna go ahead and run beads down this and finish it off. And now the whole thing swings and opens like a door. And this is like maybe $20 worth of metal. So that's a bonus. It's pretty heavy. You know, these windows, they lose a lot of heat, but you do have the added benefit of being able to see out of them when you drive. So it's a tough give and take, but it leaks like crazy. So I had to do something about it. Well, I've taken some of the extra flat bar that was left over, and I'm going to use this drill press in order to create a locking mechanism utilizing pieces of the old lock as well. But before I can do any of that, I have to drill a hole right through this piece of metal. So whenever you drill metal, you have to make sure that you use lubrication and the correct bits. So I have the correct bit here, and you can see this kind of liquid where I'm making the hole. That's to ensure that there is not excessive amounts of friction, because the drill needs to cut through, you know, at a slow, steady pace. As you can see here, I've got it all mocked up now, so the original lock mechanism can be reused in this way by adding this extended piece of flat bar. I also ended up spot welding a bit of the original bar on there to help with the twisting. And as you can see, there's still some gaps around the edges up here around the top. So we're going to need to do a little bit of wood framing in order to get this to seal up real tight. And, you know, we'll add some weather stripping and a door handle down the road. All right, so I did one quick coat of black paint over the door. This is the same material that I used to paint the floor with. It's high gloss, so it's showing off even more of the... You can see the metal where it's all warped and stuff, because the welding process warped it pretty bad. My one idea I had was to put a decorative piece of wood in front here. All right, so I bought some of this Rust-Oleum frosted glass to kind of touch up the windows. Remember, I had some little technical issues that I thought I could fix up with this. I think it looks pretty rad, actually. And it literally was 2 spray coatings. And I bought 2 cans of this, so that is way too much. You could easily do this with 1 can. You could probably do a whole bus with 1 can. So if this is an option for you, it looks pretty rad. It went on real nice on the windows, so you could even frost out some of your windows, and it looked pretty good. Well, the next project is I'm going to be replacing all of these lights with LEDs. You see I already pulled one of them out. This is what it looks like on the inside. This is a separate housing with a bulb, and then there's like a lens that goes over top of it. If you're checking the bulbs, make sure to flick them. All right, so here's a side-by-side with the LED mounted. You can kind of see the side profile. It's a little bit thinner, and the lens and everything's all built in. It's gonna be a lot brighter. And I got ones for the turn signal as well, and 2 tail lights, and then I'm gonna make all of these tail lights too. So I'm gonna have a real hard stop when I hit red. I'm gonna replace these with bigger ones for backup, and then yellows. Here's another tool that I can recommend. It's basically just a magnet. And so once I pull screws out, I can just stick them on there, see? And they'll just hang out until I need them again. One thing to keep in mind when you are installing any of these lights, or even reinstalling the old lights, is there's a little sign here that tells you top. Hopefully you can see that. Top. And then see, it says it here too. This is the old light, top. So just make sure you put the top in first. I'm reusing the original screws. This old setup had screws that connected the lens to the housing. This one is lens and housing all in one, so you only need 4 of the original screws. And it comes with a little gasket. You can see that here. It's the little gasket. So make sure the little holes are lined up so that you get a nice tight seal. The clip here will not fit through the hole. My first logic was to disconnect them, try to pass one through and then the other. But if this part won't go through, then it won't house. So what I'm going to use is I take this step drill bit, and I'm going to just make the hole a little bigger. Before, after. Well, we've got all of the rear LEDs done. Down here we've got the backup lights and backup, stop, turn signal, and up on the top we've got brake lights where the flashes used to be. Let's look at the front. So I patched over using sheet metal from the ceiling, which I cut out with a pair of tin snips, and then mounted these lights through the bottom hole, and then ran the wire through. And as you can see, I reused, there was some need for some spacers, so I reused these washers that originally held the windows in place. So that helped me out. It's always good to just keep collecting all that junk. Anyway, that's going to be the look on the outside, going all the way across. One of the great things about building here in a community is that there are so many other people who have built and have experience, who you can lean on for support and advice. Chris down the hill, another one of the builders, hooked me up with all of these awesome pneumatic tools that he no longer needed. This is going to be a lifesaver for me because I have to pull all of these rivets on the top, and that would take too long with my hammer drill method. Everybody make sure to go and follow Chris and his family on Instagram. Lots and lots to learn from them as well. Nice. Start pulling it. You could probably just pull it with your hands, though. Here, give me the. Yeah, boy. Awesome. Pull it all the way up. Awesome. The tools that I'm using to do this are a small pry bar and a power drill. Some people's windows may be more complicated than that, but luckily for us, it's been a pretty easy job. The first thing I'm going to do is pull out all these screws here. One in here where there's a little corner, a little box where I can kind of get the pry bar in. And then once the pry bar has started to pry, you gotta wedge it back. Just keep pulling. And you can see the glue. See that? Glue coming apart in there. Move the pry bar down. See all that glue? Mm-hmm. Over here? No. That's all that adhesive coming off. And that's really all that's holding these windows in. So some people has adhesive is really, really strong and it becomes kind of difficult for them to get it out. So they'll kind of tap on it from the outside by using like a 2x4 and then malleting it so they don't smash the windows. But for me, this is coming out like butter. Try not to hit yourself with it. This should be separate from that. Like that. You understand? Like this is attached and this is not. Windows 95, right?
Windows 95.
Well, now that we've got the windows out, we need to pull all of the rivets. So there are some decorative pieces here on the outside. You can see these black pieces in front of the hat channel. They've got to come out, as well as a lot of the rivets along the top. I'm very fortunate to have been given access to these awesome pneumatic tools. I never really used air compressed tools before, and they're making the job go so much faster. I'm very, very grateful and excited. I've been knocking out all of the rivets. So down here on the bottom you can see the rivets. And these I'm pulling out. This is called a rub rail. So I'm pulling it all out of the rub rail. All the windows are out. But I also got to pull them out up top. Here you can see where the decorative pieces, I pulled it out. And then down here I'm starting to pull all these rivets out too. Because when I put the sheet metal in, the sheet metal has to go underneath where that metal is, and then I'm going to rivet or bolt through it, probably rivet. Air chisel, and as you can see I have kind of mangled the bit here. I sharpened it a little bit to make it easier, and it's going pretty good.